Hi, Grayson and Isley. We got to keep going with this story. Susan, James, and Stephen found Tommy. Remember, Tommy was the boy with the blue sweater, and he was leaning up against the cliff up on the mountain? Well, Susan saw the blue sweater, and she took Stephen and James, and the three of them walked over and found Tommy crying. He was sad and lonely because he lost his family and he was stuck on the mountain all by himself. "Tommy, what happened?" said Susan. "How did you get here and why are you all alone?" "Well," said Tommy, "my dad and mom took me up on a camping trip up on the mountain. And we were up camping and a huge storm came up and it blew the tent over and everybody got wet and all the stuff was strewn around by the wind and we had no food. Everything was wet and it was really bad. So my dad said, 'Hey, I'll run down the mountain and I'll get another tent and bring it back up so that we can't have to spoil our camping trip. We want to keep going with this because the sun's going to come out and we'll have a new day.' So the mom and Tommy stay on the mountain. They find a little cave and they go inside the cave where it's warm and there's no rain. And the dad gets in the car, goes back down, gets another tent, and comes back up. Well, while the dad's gone, the mom says, "Hey, what would you like for breakfast, Tommy?" And Tommy said, "I love blueberries. I want blueberries. Mom, can we go out picking?" And she looked out of the cave and said, "Yeah, well, it's stopped and morning is starting to come. The sun is starting to rise. So let's go out and pick some berries and we'll have a couple of berries for breakfast." So they go out and start picking, and meanwhile the sun comes up, it gets a little warmer, and the mom starts picking. She gets a cupful and then 2 cupfuls, and Tommy wanders off a little bit, and he sees a trail, and he starts down the trail with his little cup and starts picking the berries, and he keeps walking, and pretty soon he gets absent-minded, and he forgets where he is, and he just keeps walking through the mountain trail, and suddenly he's lost. He stops picking and he realizes, "Oh my goodness, I've wandered so far away from Mom that I can't get back. What am I going to do?" He puts his hand in his pocket and he realizes that he has a little notebook and a pencil. And so, looking over from the side of the trail, he sees a stream. And he writes the note and makes a little toy boat out of wood with a little door in it, puts the note inside the door, and shoves the toy boat down the stream because he thinks that if somebody finds the toy boat, they'll come up the mountain and find him and he'll be rescued. "So that's what happened," Tommy told Susan, "and that's why you saw the toy boat and you came up and rescued me." "Well, gosh," said Susan, "where do you live and how can we get you back home again?" "Well, I live at 52 Sycamore Street." "Sycamore Street," said James. "Sycamore. Well, wait a second. That's a couple of miles away from our farmhouse. My mom can drive us back there and we'll take you home." "Great," said Tommy. "My parents are worried about me and they'll be thrilled to know that I got rescued from the mountain and brought safe back home again." So they all pile into the station wagon. Susan's mom starts driving down the mountain, around the corner, and down to a turn that leads to Sycamore Street. Well, they're going down the road, and suddenly, pow, pow! Two big pops, loud noises, and the car goes thump, thump. The mom turns the wheel, tries to get it going again, nothing. She stops the car, puts it in park, takes off her seatbelt, opens the door, and goes outside. Oh my goodness, she says. There are two flat tires. Not one, but two. Two flat tires. Somebody had broken a big glass jar and left the glass in the road. Susan's mother's car had driven over the glass and pow, pow, both the tires flat as a pancake. There's only one spare tire in the trunk. What is Susan's mom going to do? Kids, we're going to have to get out and walk the rest of the way. I think it's only about 1.5 miles, so it's not that far. Come on, out of the car we go. She puts it in park, puts a little white towel in the window to tell people that her car is disabled, and off they go down the road to try and get Tommy back to his house. Well, they walk 1.5 miles. That's not too far. Most people can walk 1.5 miles. I'm sure that you guys have walked 1.5 miles with your mom and dad. So they get to Tommy's house. Tommy's mother opens the door. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, she says. Hey, Jim, she calls to her husband, who is Tommy's father. Look, Tommy's back. A family found him and brought him back to us. Fantastic, said Tommy's dad. This is great. How'd you guys find him? And Susan's mother told Tommy's parents the story of how they had gotten the toy boat, got the message, come back home, and they had driven up and found Tommy on the mountain. Well, come on in, said Tommy's father. We're just finishing up with a great meal. Maybe you can join us a little bit. We got pancakes and eggs. We got bacon. We got blueberries, raspberries, and yogurt. Wow, we've built up a hunger, said Susan's mom. And James and Stephen said, yeah, let's do it. Let's eat. I'm hungry. So they piled into Tommy's kitchen, sat down at the table, and started eating breakfast. Well, when they got done with a big breakfast, they said, thank you so much. This was great. And they walked back outside, and Tommy's father called the gas station and had the gas station bring the tow truck with 2 tires, and the tow truck came and went to Susan's mother's car that was stuck in the road with the 2 flats. They fixed the 2 tires. They got the car started again. Susan and James and Stephen piled in the car, and they drove back to the farmhouse. Wow, have we had a day, said Susan's mother. Aren't you guys tired? I mean, that was a lot of work. Finding Tommy, going to his house, eating breakfast, and now fixing the car and coming back home. What do you want to do next? Well, I think we're going to read a little bit. We're going to just be quiet for a while because we're tired. So the 3 kids pile into James' bedroom, and they prop themselves up on the pillows and they start reading. And they read a little bit, and they get tired and more tired. Wow. I'm really tired, said Stephen, and James and Susan say, yeah, my eyes are starting to close. I think we'll go to bed. And that's it for tonight. I love you guys, and we'll have another story tomorrow. Have a good sleep.